Solution.
Team pick.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Starladder Season 8, Day 15. Coverage resumes now here on Beyond the Summit. I'm Zyori. With me once again is Merlini, and our fourth match of 5 today. Going to be the QPad Red Pandas on our Radiant side, facing off against RoX.KiS on the Dire side. Merlini, my friend, Slark in that first banning cluster. Can't say I'm surprised after the domination in that last game.
Dire team ban.
And looks like Merlini hopped up again. So, alas, it was a first pick bristleback here for RoX.KiS. Alchemist Bane grabbed by the QPad Red Pandas. And Abaddon gonna be grabbed by RoX.KiS. We don't see Abaddon in that first picking cluster all too often. But he does work pretty nicely with that bristleback. And if they want to snag a Weaver, perhaps they could do just that here.
Man, bristleback Abaddon again?
Yep.
Wow. Keep an eye out on this Mouse VP game, and they're doing the same thing. And this bristleback is like impossible to kill. He has Vanguard, Heaven's Halberd, AC, Heart, and there's Abaddon supporting him. And they're like 5-on-1ing him, and it's ridiculous how stacked this bristleback is. So
dirty.
This combo seems to be very, very potent. Nope, there's an immediate Razor pick to work versus the OD. And there are a couple options. Kunkka, I think, is the worst of the three. Lone Druid, I'd probably rank like Viper, and Viper slightly above Razor, Razor slightly above Lone Druid slightly above, or Lone Druid just above Kunkka, not even just slightly above.
Yeah. You really don't like that Kunkka versus Outworld Devourer.
No, I mean, the damage is nice, but melee heroes just have a much larger disadvantage. That's one of the main reasons why I don't like him. It's just because he's melee. All the three other ones are ranged.
Yeah, Lone Druid is an interesting one, but that second unit just makes it so much more difficult for OD. And then once you get Entangle, well, sometimes you can set up a kill or two with that lucky batch of RNG if the OD isn't careful. So I do like the Lone Druid. That's one we rarely ever see, though. I think I've seen it maybe twice. But most teams just don't seem to feel comfortable running Lone Druid mid against an OD. At least the games I've seen.
He has really good rune control, though, because you can just send a bear to a rune. But yeah, it's kind of like the Clinks mid. It's just not very useful.
Right. So we'll see what the QPandas want to grab here. They've got a pretty well-rounded roster. Probably going to be that support Alchemist, but you never know. They do have Bane as well. Mirana could be a pick here. No, going to go with the Darkseer. Interesting choice.
I've seen some like wombo, or not even wombo combos, just like combos with Alchemist and Darkseer. But all in all, it's very difficult to coordinate, and your Darkseer player has to be like really, really good in order to execute properly.
Yeah. You're absolutely right about that. I mean, we've pretty much seen Darkseer exclusively now since 6.79 with the Wombo combo type lineups, you know, set up with the vacuum into an Earth Splitter, that kind of stuff. And this is not one such roster where I see that synergy with the Darkseer, and that's why I'm sort of stroking the goatee a little bit here as to what they may have in store for a little Ishkafel.
Well, Darkseer's like okay versus Bristle, I suppose. First off, you'll get a lot of Magic Stick charges. If it's a one-on-one matchup, this is you'll have plenty of Magic Stick charges, so you can spam Ion Shell. You have Surge to run away from stacks of goo, and you have a lot of magic damage without actually having to be up there in front versus him.
Radiant team
and Star Spirit going to be that fourth pick. Nice staple mid hero, but probably a safe lane. I guess sort of probably going to be a, well, I don't know. Safe lane Storm. Maybe they'll grab a jungler fifth pick. And then an Abaddon Bristleback duo lane. Maybe it'll be the off lane Bristle. They've got a couple of options here on RoX.KiS.
Dual lanes, or yeah, solo safe lane Storm with Abaddon Bristle +1 in the off lane. Crystal Maiden has actually gone unnoticed in this pool, as has Venomancer.
Yeah, very true. And it could be a Crystal Maiden last pick here for RoX.KiS if that's what they want to go for.
Radiant team pick.
will work very well in their lineup. It'll give Razor extra mana mid to help deal with OD. It'll give Storm Spirit extra mana to help control his lane, and it works really well with the Bristleback and Abaddon too. So I think it would be a very solid pick out for them. You can't really go wrong with it. It's a stable pick. If they want to do something else, though, we'll see what they have in mind.
Yep, absolutely. Crystal Maiden really is one of those well-rounded supports that I can't think of a situation where she wouldn't be that great of a pick. I mean, if you have too many supports, obviously, but if you're in need of a support, she can fit in really with any roster. And Rubik will be the final pick for QPad. They're going to get themselves a little bit of crowd control, and they've got a fair bit of it as well between Rubik, Bane, and Alchemist. Not a bad setup, but I guess that means we are slated to see a position 1 Alchemist here.
Cool.
Yep. So let's see, and looking at QPad, they do have a couple of stand-ins. Again, Derp Derp, or aka Crapodile. I don't know which one he's preferred here, but he did re-tag himself as Crapodile. We did see him in Game 1. And last, it is going to be Crystal Maiden with that final pick, as we were talking about.
Yep. Nothing too special about these lineups. RoX.KiS definitely has like a slightly different draft than most teams, but this one seems pretty up their alley. QPad, they had the first ban Pugna, which is definitely very good versus RoX.KiS.
Yep, that is definitely a hero that they have run on many an occasion. So let's look at the side of RoX.KiS here. I'm so curious how exactly they're going to lane this. Scandal is on the Razor, so they are hoping it will be OD mid. Biz going to be on the Storm Spirit here. Looks like he'll be headed up to the top lane. Yol on the Crystal Maiden headed up to the top as well to join him. Sadoy going to be the one on the Bristleback here, and he will be in the long lane. The only remaining question is what's Goldblack going to do here? Will the Abaddon head down to the bottom lane for a little 2-on-2 action, or is he going to head up top for a bit of the tri-lane? And it looks like he is indeed going to go bottom. So 2-1-2 for RoX.KiS to start things off. On the Radiant side, the QPandas down to the bottom. Blue Banana going to be on the Alchemist. RMN going to be supporting on the Rubik. They're also going to be joined by the Bane Crapodile, a.k.a. Derp Derp here. Going to be on the Bane. And in the mid, that does mean OD going to be played by Durham. And in the long lane, no big surprise, Darkseer going to be able to shine. And Sarar going to be playing him.
30 seconds.
I'm surprised that the Razor didn't go with a Boots first build. That's actually very, very common in the OD and Razor matchup. But he did get pull some tangos, did get a Wraith Band early. Yeah, you kind of just like walk up to him at level 1 and just static link. And usually you can get like 2 ticks off. So the Wraith Band damage is what, +9, and you would get +14 if you had Boots. So it's all right, I suppose. It definitely pays off as soon as you get unstable current, because as soon as you astral, he just gets unstable current and you absorb even more damage.
Yeah, absolutely right. Well, what happened to the days of Rubik mid? Is that something that we're ever going to see again, Merlini?
I think it's good. It's like all mid is about now is just getting farm and XP and bottle crowing though. So like Rubik can just get experience from the jungle in that role. But man, and he's like okay, he's somewhat useful with runes. His damage is like very predictable. It's very hard to die versus him.
Here in the mid lane, already off to an aggressive start. Go Black did have an invisibility rune. OD gonna get a lot of his damage drained here, -42 already. So Scandal gonna have a little bit of a luxury here, last hitting away. And
the block by Durham was just really, really not good because the creep wave is all the way up here.
Yep. So with that, Abaddon just going to rotate down to the bottom lane and support his good buddy Bristleback. So there is a bit of lopsidedness about the laning phase. QPanda's going to do a 1-1-3 against the 2-1-2 of RoX.KiS. So we'll see if they're tri-lane.
CRR, Mike, he's putting a lot of pressure on Yol.
Yep. Oh, yeah, up here in the top. Yeah, so in this kind of a situation, who has the better of the laning phase? The 2 versus 1 up top or the 3 versus 2 down in the bottom? I mean, I guess Abaddon, Bristleback, pretty well suited to deal with this aggressive tri-lane.
I think that if CM plays greedily and they get levels on her, then I think it's a win for a huge win for RoX.KiS, because mid Scandal already off to a very, very good start. Checking out the CS is 6-4 compared to 1-1. So Scandal pretty much already won mid. In top lane, Storm Spirit, he shouldn't die to a Darkseer because he can just dish as good as CRR can deal as a Darkseer just by dropping remnants if he tries to play aggressively. So if Yol just jungles and they just don't die on bottom, they should win theoretically all 3 lanes.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you here. And a 2 versus 3 when you have this tanky Bristleback and then the support from the Abaddon, pretty difficult to set up a kill. They're going to have to make a pretty fatal misstep or overcommit to a kill. Other than that, though, it should be pretty easy for him. Between Mistcoil and a Photic Shield. Is it a Photic or a Photic?
I have no idea. I say a Photic.
A Photic.
Right. It could easily be either. I don't actually know what it...
Yeah,
what... Is that a real word in English, or is it like a...
Photic? I have no idea.
I have no idea. I've never heard of the word. I can look it up.
Yeah, I've never heard somebody say a Photic in my everyday...
Okay. I'll Google it. Let's see. A Photic.
My everyday...
A Photic zone is a portion of a lake or ocean where there is little or no sunlight. A Photic. A Photic? I think it's a Photic.
I usually just type stuff into Google Translate and have the lady say it for me. She seems to know how to pronounce stuff. Ooh, Darkseer up in the top. Yol going to come around the backside. And maybe a little bit of issue going to come his way here. Frostbite going to come out. A Remnant going to be used as well. He will be able to surge back. And I think if they were a little bit more aggressive here, I know Crystal Maiden did go level 2 1-point Arcane Aura. So not going to go that aggressive build. Maybe could have set up a kill. But still going to harass him back and force him to use the Healing Salve.
Yeah, CRR is still doing very well, though. Level 4.5. They can't really zone him out, though. Not with the Crystal Maiden.
Razor still doing very well in this mid lane, though. 15 and 10 against the 4 and 4 OD. Some of that is just that early bit of momentum that he got from the rotation of that Abaddon to zone out Durham just a little bit. He did snake a couple of creep kills before OD was able to, but now he is just carrying that momentum. OD not off to a great start.
CRR might actually get a kill on Yol.
Yeah, he's going to come in. There's that Crystal Nova. Biz going to use the Vortex. They might be able to turn it around here. It's going to be close. No, First Blood going to come out the way of the Darkseer. Of course, it is going to cost him his life. A 1-for-1, but still, Crystal Maiden does concede that bonus First Blood bounty.
Yeah, I think that's actually a win for RoX.KiS. Even though Darkseer got First Blood, he still died, and Storm Spirit is just going to get even more massive than he already is. Yes, CS is 19 and 12 compared to 9 and 0, so you don't want to feed him anymore. And them sacrificing a CM for that is perfectly okay. Sidoi getting caught out on bottom. Blue Banana on the Alchemist actually didn't even go for Grievel's Greed.
Yep, absolutely right. 2 points in that concoction, 1 point in the spray. Sidoi, even though in an odd position, Go Black going to be here to help support. If Photic Shield comes out, that was a miscoil creep. Oh,
yeah.
Oh, that hurts. He is going to be able to survive still, but I guess not the biggest of misplays. If Bristleback had died there, it would have been huge, but minor misplay there. It's a small misclick from Go Black.
Oh. Yeah, not a big deal. As long as Sidoi doesn't die, it's not that big of a misstep. Durham, he's out of mana mid. He's forced to go bottle too. So OD is just suffering very, very heavily in this matchup. Razor already with his boots and bottle. Yol going in for the kill.
Yep, Crystal Nova to start it off. Then a Frostbite. Scandal stealing a lot of damage here. One more ought to do it. Down he goes. A very valuable kill there for the side of RoX.KiS. Scandal was already dominating this mid lane, and now it is just furthering that domination. Very valuable kill right there. Nice rotation from Yol.
And QPandas is not doing so well in this early game, but the gold graph is still fairly close, 750. They need to get a lot of farm up on this Darkseer, though. He actually went for a Ring of Protection, maybe into a Trinkles, even though I think Trinkles is pretty garbage in 6.79. If he gets an early mech, though, they can definitely start taking early team fights versus Rox. OD also needs some farm, too. He needs something very fast. Midas catch-up is, I wouldn't say that's that great here. Because if he split pushes, he'll just get picked up by Storm, and because I think he needs some survivability in team fights, I think just go like Treads and Force and let Darkseer get a mech and then just start trying to bring the fight to RoX.KiS.
Yep, I would agree with that. I think Midas here on Durham would be a big misstep. In the match we saw earlier, that OD that went Midas, it's just, did I say mech? I meant to say Midas, I'm sorry. I don't know. I think he would just take too long for him to come online, and he's already so far behind that by the time he gets it, it would just not be a worthy investment. And we'd see this OD with a Midas Force Staff at like the 20-minute mark, while RoX.KiS are just pounding into their towers.
Yeah, RoX.KiS is a team that likes to group up early too. They love to 5-man. They love to take control of the map in the mid game. They're not very passive in the mid game. BZZ gets caught out on top, but he's level 6. He's actually level 7.5. So I don't actually know why they thought they could kill him. Maybe if he's at like half HP, you can kill him with a very good burst and very good coordination. Looks like Razor just...
Yeah, I missed that. Razor got a solo kill on OD. That was not even a support rotation. I wasn't ready for that one. Wow.
I'm surprised this hasn't been done more. Like, when's the last time we saw a Razor? And when's the last time we saw a Razor versus an OD? And it works pretty well. Like even if you get far behind OD as a Razor, OD can't get that far ahead just because of constant static link spam. And that thing takes like 20 to 50 mana depending on the level. So you're almost always going to have mana to cast it.
Yep. Only 20 mana at level 1, exactly right. Crystal Maiden now going to have those Tranquil Boots that you were talking about. Razor was forced to go back to the well here, but he has level 8 against the now level 6 Outworld Devourer, so a huge level disparity as well as farm disparity from that mid lane. And needless to say, RoX.KiS have a nice lead set up for themselves, upwards about 1,500 gold and 2,000 experience already. And we could see some more rotations here down in the bottom lane. Looks like QPad might want to get a bit aggressive. There is going to be a port coming in from the Darkseer, so it will be a 4v2 down here. And I think they do want to try and kill Sidoi. There's the Nightmare to start things off. He is going to get cleansed. Compliments of the old Abaddon there. Actually, no, he didn't. Never mind. I guess it just expired. What happened to that Nightmare? Where did it go? Did somebody click it off of him? That was strange, huh?
Yeah, they have 4 heroes down here, yet they can't do anything versus Bristleback. He's still at full HP and still with a shield.
Yep.
So, like, what? I don't know what their plan is over here.
Yep, Blue Banana gonna fall. Sarar gonna fall as well. Rubik, oh no. And this is where Bristleback just starts to get disgusting. We'll see Y'all take off the Nightmare, and unfortunately Bristleback not tanky enough to dive that tier 1 tower, so he will have to about face. But still, gonna be a 2-for-0 exchange, and they weren't even the aggressors there. That was a gank from QPanda. The power of the Bristleback Abaddon duo lane that you were talking about.
Yeah, their ganks are just questionable. They're like hoping something like a miracle is going to happen with their ganks. Like for example, the top gank on a level 7 Storm, like they can't kill him with just a Rubik, especially when he's at full HP. And then the gank on bottom with the Abaddon there, like you need to be able to shut down the Abaddon, like come around back with an Alchemist, stun the Bristleback and sleep the Abaddon, and then maybe like telekinesis the Abaddon into the Bristleback or something like that. They just need better coordination. They just let Goldblack just do his thing on Sidoi, and you're not going to be able to kill a Bristleback like that. He has a 1,000 HP, and he has a Magic Stick, and he has a Vanguard. And on top of that, there's the Abaddon sitting behind him with level 5. So they have to coordinate way better or bring all 5 down if they want to kill Sidoi.
Yep. Up in the top lane, I did watch OD get taken out, but I did miss the exchange down in the bottom. So Razor is going to fall, or pardon me, in the mid. Razor going to fall to the wrath of the Darkseer. Kills happening all over the place here, and Rubik did get picked off, I guess, down in the bottoms. Kills happening in every lane simultaneously, but most important in which, I guess, is that OD up top. Easy kill for the Storm. And unfortunately, Razor fell. I did not see what happened against the Darkseer.
Not really sure either. Razor probably just dove Rubik, and he got a kill. I didn't see it, though. Bottom, we see a dive.
Yep, they're going to dive on the Alchemist here. Unstable Concoction charging up, but those quills already starting to add up. A port in from the Rubik. One more hit on Blue Banana, and he should go down the defensive Astral. Go Black, only level 5, and I think that Sanity's Eclipse a little bit off the mark. Bristleback going to man up a little bit here. He will get another Aphotic Shield. It explodes, starting to stack up the quills still. Razor now going to come in with a Plasma Field. Going to do a lot of damage. It's going to be a 1-for-3, and it's not over quite yet. A little bit of sticky goo coming out on the Darkseer, and that will be enough for a kill. A 1-for-4.
Only 330 damage on Scandal.
Yeah.
320.
Ooh. Jeez. He's going to continue to pursue. One more ought to do it on RMN. Oh, he's not going to be able to get it. He does get telekinesed in the tower, and Scandal will.
Look how aggressively they're playing. They're playing like almost behind the T2, 10 minutes in. And this is with the T1 still up.
Yeah.
Poor QPandas.
Ridiculous. Bristleback, Abaddon. That is the new duo lane that I'm afraid of. It used to be Abaddon Weaver, but this is way scarier. It's just insane. 5,000 gold lead, 7,500 experience lead, and they are going to grab this tier 1 tower kill on the bottom. And again, while all that was happening, of course, Storm Spirit was just free farming up in the top lane. He's going to be able to kill this top tier 1 simultaneously. That's 2 towers down.
His Orchid.
Yep, and his Orchid now. Wow. Oh, this is so rough for the QPandas. That gold graph just going to continue to dip further and further. Now 7,500 gold at only the 11-minute mark.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Well, OD has his boots. That's a step up from what happened before. He didn't have his boots like 2 or 3 minutes ago. Sidoi still getting out of hand. Looks like he's going to go for a pipe next. So once they have a pipe, they are kind of screwed. RoX.KiS can do Roshan fairly soon. They don't have the best lineup for it, but they do have a Bristleback plus an Abaddon there for the heals. BZZ jumping on CRR on top with his newly acquired Orchid, but TP response comes in, or fake TP response.
All right. You know, I have finally noticed that orchid effect. It's pretty subtle. It's not quite as bold as I thought it was going to be when I read it in the patch notes. It's a very subtle, just little puff of red for a moment. But QPad will smoke up here. Yeah. I
they
guess
have to get a lift off on RMN first.
Yeah. So we'll see what they can grab. They are going to find their way into a haste rune. And uh-oh, their smoke may be revealed here by Scandal. It's going to reveal the Rubik at least. He is the one with the haste rune. And with that storm just going to pour it out. So that will be a failed smoke gank. Handamite is picked up by someone. Who was it? Let's see here. Yol. Alright, he's going to grab himself a Handamitis. Interesting. Crystal Maiden Handamitis. Still a thing.
Why not?
Yeah, why not? We got enough gold to go around here.
It doesn't really matter.
Yeah, true that. Mid-tier 1 tower for QPandas. Probably going to fall here. They do have a glyph if they want to make a stand. But they're not going to. It looks like they do want to try and trade tier 1 for tier 1 as they pressure the top. But not going to have that pushing power. Port's going to come in, and this is going to be an easy hold by RoX.KiS. Sodoi will be the first to port in. Snot going to be used on the Rubik, or the nasal goo, I suppose it's called here. Scandal going to come in, going to get a couple of charges on that static link, not going to get too much damage. They're just going to go for Blue Banana. He's going to try to port out. Not going to happen. They'll have enough damage to finish him off, and now Sarar going to be in trouble. He's going to fall as well. Same story, different chapter as he tries to port out. They'll pursue on Outworld Devour as well. Biz going to have an easy kill there with the Vortex. And that is just the easiest 4 for nil that RoX.KiS are going to find.
QPandas needs to be less hesitant about the TPs. If a Bristle TPs in, just immediately TP out. Next one is going to come in 6 seconds. And yeah, someone's probably going to get picked off by Storm, but it's better than giving me up 3 heroes.
Yeah, you're exactly right. They all, like, 2 of them tried to port out and they burned the ports, but they did it sort of
way too late.
If they'd ported right away, they probably would have made it, but that little bit of stutter step is really what cost them there. Absolutely right. Glyph does get used, though, for this bottom tier, or top tier 2, pardon me. They may try and hold a defense, no. QPanda's going to have all 5 up. They're all pretty low level, so they do respond quickly. Look at that net worth chart. The lowest on RoX.KiS above the highest on QPandas. That's where...
It's that 1K GPM a minute mark.
Yeah, we've hit it. 14K. And there's
that should be like the mercy roll. If it gets to that point, like 20 minutes in the game where you have 20k gold leash, you just like automatically GG out.
The ancient just explodes. It's like, sorry man, you're too far behind.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be a bad benchmark to do it, I'll tell you what. It's mid-tier 2.
I don't remember last time I've seen a comeback from like 15,000, 15 minutes in.
Yeah.
I'm not even sure if that's happened ever.
A rough game for QPandas.
Yeah, rough game for QPandas. They're just forced to work with stand-ins a lot, and their stand-ins are like different almost every day too. So it's not easy for them.
Yeah, that definitely makes it really hard. OD going to get picked off again at the beginning of this fight. Now they're going to be able to finish off the Alchemist. Just doesn't have the HP pool for that Chemical Rage to make a big difference. Fiend's Grip does come out, but Bane just going to get destroyed as soon as he grips. Razor going to grab himself a mech, and this is really GG at this point. Anytime QPandas want to tap out.
They typically don't tap out though until like the very. They don't even tap out. They just wait for Ancients to fall. So I expect this game to go a little bit longer, but it's pretty much all but over. They just took a 3 for 0 and a 4-step buyback out of QPandas without even suffering anything. That's before their mech. Looks like BZZ is actually going to die though. Yep,
Biz will fall, but that tier 2 tower going to go down as well. Now Bane going to get surged as he's trying to hop forward. He's going to Nightmare onto Razor, but now Sodoi just going to go straight in. He needs to be a little bit careful here. We'll get some support from Go Black. He's trying to spam those quills. They are starting to add up. A buyback from Storm, a long-range zip. Going to come forward. That'll be the end of the Bane and Alchemist as well. And now RMN going to be in big trouble. Rubik's not even level 6 yet. He's still level 5. Oh man, that's a disaster. And this OD, he just never got any footing. OD is 0-6-1 right now at the 15-minute mark. He just got shut down from the get-go in this match.
Yeah, I mean, Goblak didn't even have to be there at the very start. He was like there invisible, but he didn't actually need to do anything. It was just the creep block and then the one early kill, and after that, he's just so far behind. So a little bit unfortunate for QPandas here. I don't really think their draft is that bad. They just have to be better about decision making in the early game. They just get so far behind in the laning phase often that it's just very difficult for them to come back. I'm not sure how good their team fight is, but it really hasn't come to that point yet in most of the games that I've watched them play.
Yeah, I definitely second that notion. And, you know, Dota is one of those games, you got to get through that laning phase first. You can draft an awesome wombo combo, a great team fight team, but if you can't survive the laning phase for at least a break even, that makes everything else kind of a moot point. And with that, RoX.KiS going to move straight into the Roche pit here at the 17-minute mark, and it will go unchecked. QPandas, well, they don't have much to try and contest this, and that will be a free Roshan. Probably going to go to Sadoy, but could go to Biz as well. No, gonna go to Biz on the Storm Spirit. I guess that Bristleback is pretty tanky. He does have a Sanj now.
Immortality is mine. I won a bet versus Blitz, and I told him he had to use like 10 or 20 of Storm Spirit's responses during a cast, and I'm not actually sure if he did it. He might have.
Pretty hard.
I know. Well, it was like a sub tournament. We had a tournament. It was Blitz, me, Purge, and Draskell, and we had like individual bets going on, and his team lost to my subs. So this I forgot what I had to do. Maybe like read 50 Shades of Grey or something. I don't know, something ridiculous like that. But I don't think he followed through on that. I want him to deliver.
Yeah, Storm Spirit's a weird one because he says weird stuff like zip. Like I guess you could work that into the cast.
I told him he had to do it in the voice too.
Yeah,
like you can't just say like, you know, there's a storm coming.
Yeah,
you gotta do it in the voice.
Uh-oh. Speaking of Storm Spirit, he's going to be in a little bit of trouble here. He's going to be in a 1v5, the lone defender. He will pop back up from that Aegis. They did burn the Fiend's Grip. Is he going to be able to zip away before that concoction comes? Yes! Oh, Blue Banana going to stun himself. Oh, no. And while all 5 of them are playing with Biz, they're going to lose this bottom tier 3 tower. No glyph available. So I think RoX.KiS will be happy to trade the Aegis for this tier 3 tower down here. Yeah. Another stipulation, probably, if Storm Spirit's not in the game, that makes it a little more challenging as well. If there's a Storm Spirit, then it's a little
played
easier.
Storm so many times, he knows what the voiceovers are.
No, I just mean like, oh, look, Storm Spirit's going to be zipping in. You know, it just makes it a little bit easier if he's there. If there's no Storm Spirit, then it's a little, goofier. Are you a big Storm player, Merlini? Is that one of your favorite
not.
heroes?
That's actually one of the few IT heroes mid I do not play.
Really? How come?
I like back when he was released, like every time I was on a team or every time I played with friends, there would always be a player that played Storm, and then they were like, "Oh, I'll take Storm." I was like, "Okay," and then like it happened like 5 times, then 15 times, and then by like the 16th time, I'm like, "Well, I haven't played this hero yet, and this guy really likes playing it, and everyone likes playing Storm apparently." So I just never got, never really got to play him, and then that kind of carried over into Dota 2. It's not a really good excuse. It's not that I don't like the hero. I think the hero is awesome, but just not really comfortable with the hero.
Yeah, he's fun.
Yeah, as opposed to like someone like Puck. Puck, like not that many people like to play him. Not at least back in not back in the day when he was sucky.
I don't like to play Puck. He's so good, and I'm just, for some reason, I'm not so good with him. Something about the phase shift. It's just one of those mechanics that I have trouble wrapping my head around compared to people that are actually good with
phase
Puck.
shift used to take mana, okay? Oh, it used to take 50 mana.
What? Really? 50 mana? That's a lot.
So. I think it was 50, 40, 30, 20 on the scaling. It used to take so much mana at level 1. Elusive Orb used to be longer cooldown. Waning Rift used to be like 0.01 second silence at level 1 instead of 0.75. He had a lot of things going against him.
Yeah. Poor Puck. Poor Fairy Dragon. Look at this. RoX.KiS just going to dive hard and they will survive. They do clear out the tier 4s. The Ancient is exposed, but QPandas will make a hold here.
Yeah. I mean, they're just going through the motions, though. Like, Goldcraft, no signs of slowing down. 27,000, 20 minutes in.
Yeah, something like that. He's going to burn his entire mana pool to hop into the base now. Looks like he is working towards a Bloodstone. Just zipping around all over the place here. Look at Biz. I think this is their plan.
Catch-up Midas from OD is going to come out after this. Here's the comeback for QPandas.
Uh-oh. That one hand of Midas. I think their strategy is just have Biz distract them while they farm. I don't. Poor guy. There's the Midas for OD. He's got his first core item. Oh boy.
Yeah. I'm not a big fan of QPandas though.
Yeah. Not your favorite team.
Well, firstly, they don't provide very good games. Like, I think every single game that I've seen them play has been one-sided. And other than secondly, they don't like the GG, so they're just like wasting everybody's time too. So it's not only that if you're gonna lose, I mean losing happens to everybody, but if you're gonna lose, at least like make it a worthwhile loss, something worth watching, bring something new to the table, or at least have like good play. But I haven't seen any of those come out from them, and they don't GG. So it's like we gotta like all the viewers and all the even it's kind of disrespectful to the other team too when you don't GG out. Yeah, if it's like finals of TI or something, then you can be like, okay, well, you know, if we have like a 1% chance of taking home $1 million, then yeah, we're gonna do it. But if it's like regular season of a league in a best of one, and it's still early on in the season, and placements aren't not like they have a good chance of making the finals at all, anyways. But it's just, you know, really, guys, really, QPandas, do you have?
I kind of agree, and I'm glad that it's sort of not many teams do this in Dota, because when I was casting competitive Han, that was a recurring thing where every time a team would lose, they get all salty about it, and you'd see this in pretty much every game, and it's just like, oh, come on. I got scolded once for telling a team to tap out because it was just like, both sides were not pushing, and it was really one-sided like this, and they were just standing in front of the well for like 5 minutes, and we were behind schedule. And I finally just raged and was like, all right, guys, like, I'm leaving. You guys get forfeited. The other team wins. We'll see you next game. And I got a lot of flack for that, but...
Yeah, I mean, I'll probably get flack for it too, but to be honest, it's like bad for the ticket buyers. It's bad for the tournament organizers when one team performs this poorly, especially when they have like all these stand-ins too. We saw 4FC just dip out of the whole entire tournament, right? They just DQ'd because they had like
two people left in their roster.
Yeah. And that saves a lot of time, right? And yeah, it's not in the best interest of it might not be in the best interest of their team because they won't end up with any wins, but at least they can take some time, regroup, rehuddle, get a new roster, practice, and scrim against teams more on their level, and you know, in an effort to get back next season. And you know, those sort of things go a long way into making the scene a lot more professional.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you, my friend. But alas, that was our fourth match today. We've got one more coming up for you guys. RoX.KiS going to continue on here in their reign of Starladder Season 8. Our last match is going to be Relax, a.k.a. Team Poseidon, up against Mouse Sports here for our fifth and final match of the day. Should be starting in just about 15 minutes, as that was a reasonably quick match, despite the end of it dragging on still only a 23-minute game. So obviously very one-sided for RoX.KiS. Bristleback having a perfect match. 10-0-11. Again, I'm Zyori. With me is Merlini. Guys, don't go anywhere beyond the summit. Starladder Season 8 Day 15 coverage continues on.